Hi everyone, this is finalnub from the First Strike podcast, and I'm very excited to bring to you guys my first piece of video content. And given that I'm known to a lot of you guys for my exploits with unfair, degenerate Griselbrand combo decks, I figured that there would be no better time or deck to start with than with this Neoform deck, also known as Mimisaurus combo. At least that's what I like to call it because I thought it was a meme. So a little bit of background is that when there was a lot of noise about this deck when Neoform was first spoiled in one of the recent Ravnica sets, and I had tested this deck and concluded that with the Vancouver Mulligan, it just wasn't consistent enough. It was no better than Narset Cannon, another turn one combo, and I figured that until the PT London Mulligan rule comes, if that comes, it wasn't worth my time to keep testing. However, my interest was re-piqued because last month there was a back-to-back Magic Online PTQ event for Modern, and in both of those weeks, separate users took this deck to the top 8, including Matsugan, the noted degenerate combo connoisseur, who has pioneered other decks such as Hall of the Bandit Lord Devoted Druid, which is a classic, and Street Wraith Bogles, I think. He almost won the PTQ, getting second in one of those events. And the reason why I was interested was because the list that they were playing was looked much more refined and tuned than the list that I had initially started with. So I've been testing with it. I'm around 200 matches in, testing online in comp leagues and challengers, and I think I'm around 65% win rate in a pretty hostile metagame actually, and my turn one plus two combo rate is around 30%, which I don't know about you, but I don't think that's anywhere near acceptable for the health of Modern. So I figured that they are probably going to start considering banning this deck after the PT London implementation, which is July 5th, I think. But until then, I'm going to have my fun and I'm going to try to kill people on turn one and turn two. So, a brief introduction to how the deck works for those who are not familiar with this deck or its cousin Grishelbrand. The idea is to combine Allosaurus Rider, which can be brought in for free even though it's a 7 CMC creature, evolve it with one of the two evolution spells, and conveniently, Griselbrand has a CMC of 8, whereas Allosaurus Rider has that of 7. So either of these spells will help Rider evolve into Griselbrand. Now, after Griselbrand is in play, the world's your oyster. So you can start paying life and draw cards. You have the familiar life game package from Griselbrand, which is Nourishing Show plus some green fatties like Allosaurus Rider itself and Chancellor of the Tangles, as well as the Worm here. And once you've drawn enough free mana and Laboratory Maniac, you're just going to filter your red mana into blue, cast the Laboratory Maniac, and win the game from there. Now, there are a few points that I want to highlight where Matsugan, I think, did a great job iterating on and fine-tuning this list. One is the emphasis of the green cards, because without the density of green cards, Allosaurus Rider is just not going to function. And Chancellor of the Tangles is a great introduction to the deck where it wasn't there before because it serves three purposes. One, it's free mana to do turn one shenanigans. If you have a turn one Chancellor plus a land plus Neoform, that's a turn one. It can also pitch to Nourishing Shoal for a draw 7, and it's a green card. So you see other funky cards like he used to play Safe Right Quest, and we also still play Edge of Autumn because these are lands, these are screen spells that count for Allosaurus Rider as well as being redundancy piece if you want, sorry, consistency piece for trying to get to your combo as soon as possible. Life Goes On is also a similar innovation in that it's a green card that helps you with your combo as well because it gains you life, and assuming that you've evolved your Allosaurus Rider this turn, you have the Morbid turned on. So that's the basic rundown of how the deck works. There's a lot of nuances that may not be intuitive to the first timers, such as manipulating your library size, recognizing your constraints, when to stop, when to jam, and of course hands to keep, as well as sideboard guides for certain matchups, which I hope to get into with my match walkthroughs in the upcoming videos. So let me just give you a quick rundown of the sideboard. Because you're a question deck, meaning that you're the one asking the question, and almost every other deck in the format's going to be providing the trying to provide the answers, even a fast combo deck like Infect or Storm. So with that being said, your sideboard's going to be entirely reactive, and that's why I don't have cards like Leyline of the Void. So you want to target the hate that you expect out of your opponent's deck and do a precise job of answering it in the most efficient way possible. So this is the control package. We have 4 Pact of Negation 75, and the Hope of Girapur sounds a bit out there, but the inspiration came from Legacy Ant as well as TES, where TES has played Hope of Girapur before, and Ant has played Xantic Swarm. Man, if Xantic Swarm was legal in Modern, it's a green card, it stops all spells, it will be busted. And the reason that we have the hopes here, in addition to Pact, is because Blue White has gotten a lot of tools. It's very popular, and with cards like Flusterstorm, Dovin's Veto, which you really can't beat, or what is it called here? Force of Negation. You really want a higher density of answers, and B, something that can shut off opposing counterspell like Dovin's Veto, like altogether. Leyline of Sanctity here is strictly for discard, and I cannot emphasize this enough. It's not for burn, it's not for Valakut, and the reason is because you are faster than almost any competitive deck out there. So all you really need to you don't need to be answering other people. You need to be making people answer you. And in that regard, the best thing you can do against burn and Valakut is um, to make them answer you and answer their answers. So, for example, against Valakut, the cards I'm worried about are Chalice for your pacts, as well as Damping Sphere to a lesser extent, but public enemy number one is Grafdigger's Cage. So in that matchup, for example, I would only bring in the Oxidizes. Speaking of which, these have the names of Grafdigger's Cage, Chalice of the Void, as well as Damping Sphere right on the card. It's also good as cards in cheap removal in general for Hardened Scale and Affinity in case they go jam into a turn 3 Inkmoth kill. And the last part here is the creature humans package, or hate bears package. So Matsugan originally ran 4 Slaughter Pacts, and while I think I like how elegant that is, I found that my humans matchup was pretty rough regardless because they have multiple hate bears that you probably need to answer if you cannot combo by turn 1 or 2. So engineered explosives is a catch-all answer for their hate bears because all of them cost 2, and as well as it has like nice cross functions covering hate bears as well as like artifact lock pieces from some other decks. So this is a short summary of the deck. Hope it was helpful, and in the upcoming videos, I'm going to walk you guys through a recent modern challenge that I ran with this deck. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in future videos.